In this video, we'll be looking into basic commands in Redis and which are most frequently used, and mostly you only require that. So for a basic application, you won't need more than this. Even if you need, like, there is a huge documentation for Redis, and you can look into the huge list of commands it provides. So since we can't go through each and every one of them, I'm going to go only through very basic ones and which one you require most for any application if you take. So in that case, I'll just get started. So to start Redis, make sure you have Redis installed. So because I'm using a Mac, I have done it using brew install Redis, and that installs two things. One is the Redis server. So there are two things basically. So there is this Redis server. So what this does is it starts the server at its default port of Redis, which is 6379. So that's the Redis default port. It starts a server. So you have to keep this running in the background and open a new tab. I'll just open a new tab, and you have to open Redis CLI. Whatever Redis commands you need, you can just type it in here. So I will go through just some of the basic ones. The first one so the first command is set. So you can see set is what actually Redis does, right? It sets the data, key and value, given the key and value. So why do we need key and value? So Redis is a key value store, KV store. What it means is you have a key and you have a value. In Python, you call it dictionary, and we usually in JSON we have this key values, right? It's the same thing. So you can say, let's say post one title, or let's go with user one name. Let's say John. So we have set this. So right now what we are doing is we are setting the user one name is the key, and we are setting it to value John. In order to get the value of this username, you can just say get user one name, and it should return John. So those are two basic commands, and you can also delete this by saying del and then the key you want to provide. So it's user one name. It returns true or false. It returns 1 or 0 basically. So what 1 means is it has deleted something which was existing, and if you delete this again, it returns 0 because the key did not exist. And if you do get, we get a nil response because we have deleted the key. You can also do exists and key name. It will return 0 if it exists. So let's set this, and then if we check, it returns as a true value, right? So you can see that in order to know if the key exists in Redis. So another thing is we can give an expiry to a key. So we can, let's say the key is user one name, right? And we can, let's say, give 3 seconds to this. So there are multiple expire commands. So each of them takes a different parameter as a second one. So in this case, it's seconds. There are commands to take milliseconds or Unix timestamps as well. So this is quite simple. So I'm going with this. So we can set that to 3, which is 3 seconds. And now if you get this, get user one name, it should be nil because it has been 3 seconds after that it expires. Okay, and if we set this and if we get it again, if we, let's say, set it 1 second, get this, and after 1 second it expires. It's pretty simple. And I think we can also get the type of the key. What does type do? So I think you can store different types of a key, because if we do set user two name, let's set it to Jane, and then if we ask for type user 2's name, it's return string because we are setting it as a string here. So previously we didn't do that. So even though it stores as a string, it doesn't store the type. It only stores the type when we give it appropriately. So not only strings, you can also do lists. Like you can have an array of elements in Redis. So to do that, you have to say lpush. Lpush is to insert into a list. So let's say there is a user list and the element is, let's say, John, and let's say Jane. So it returns the index of this or the length of the array, I guess, right? So we can verify that. So if you want to get all the elements in this list, you can do lrange user list at the start index, from where do you want to start and where do you want to go until. So if you want to start from the first index, which is 0, and if you want to go till the end, you can do -1. It should return the array elements. So if you want to remove an element, you can do lpop, and the key gets user list, right? It just pops out the topmost or the latest pushed element. And if we get the list, it's again only John. Jane has been removed from the list. And there's another interesting command here. So let's say user, let's say 3 name is my name. User 4 name is, say, Steve. So we have this, we have set this user n names, right? So if you want to get all the keys of such a pattern, you can do something like keys and the pattern it asks. So you can send in a pattern which is user star, let's say. So if we say user star, we get everything, like after user it takes anything. So we get these 4 keys, and you can also simply rename this. Let's say we can rename user 4 name to user 4 username, and if we get with all the user keys, it lists us the user 4 username. You can also give the time to live for any key. So let's say user 2 underscore name. So there is no time to live, which means it exists there forever until we remove it. So what we can do is we can basically set an expire for this. Let's say user 2 name, let's set 10 seconds, and if we do TTL now, and it's 8 7 6 5 3 0 -2, done. So let's say we are doing this again, expire user 1, let's say 3 name, and we're giving 25 seconds, and if we do TTL, let me pull that, it has 19 seconds remaining. And if you want to stop this, you can just do persist user 3 name, which persists this, and you can see if we do TTL after that, it gives us a -1, which means there's no expiry. I guess we can also do dump user 3 name, let's say. This is a dump. Basically you can store this somewhere and then you can pull this dump and then restore the values. So in this case it might be useful. So if let's get this user 3 name, so it's mono, and if you want to copy this to some other variable or some other key, you can just do user copy user 3 name, let's say user 5 name, and if we do user 5 name, it has copied the value. These are the basic commands that I wanted to look into, and you can do this. These are the same commands that will exist with any language if you use, or if any client you're using. These are the commands that you can follow. It won't change. Like there may be some different format of doing it, but the commands will be remaining the same. Yeah, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe the channel. Thank you.